Hey artists! In this video, we're going to talk about how to use Google Drawing to make mannequin figures. We're going to use images found from searching the web of realistic wooden mannequin figures. So in your copy of the Google Drawing, you can use one of the images that I've inserted in your copy of the Google Drawing to trace, or you can go on Google Image Search and find your own image to work from. We're going to use the polyline tool to trace the shapes of the mannequin figure. I'm going to start off with the head shape of the mannequin figure, the big outline shape of his face. Once I trace that, I also have to trace the smaller details of his face. So I'll move that shape that I just made to the side, and then I will trace those little details and put them on top of the head. So use the polyline tool by zooming in, clicking and moving the mouse, and then line those pieces up on the head. If you need to refine them, you can double click and then click on all of them and line them back up over the image that you're tracing. For the joints, I'm just going to use the circle shape, and I'm going to use the arrow key and shift to move it down underneath the head. I'm going to duplicate all of the circle shapes using Control D, and I'm going to line them up with the joints of the body. So the shoulders, elbows, wrists, waist, hips, knees, and ankles. By using Control D, I'm able to recreate that circle shape very quickly. Then I'm going to start tracing the shapes of the body. I'm going to trace over the chest, and there's two pieces of the chest, showing the flatness of the top, and then I'm going to use the Shift and arrow key button to relayer the shapes. You might need to click and relayer some of the shapes as you're working. For the mannequin figure, it's important that you zoom in on the shape that you're going to be tracing on, because the polyline tool is a little bit sticky. If you are zoomed too far out, you might just be making a line instead of a whole shape. You might need to move some of the pieces of the body, like the wrists and elbows, as you're tracing so that you can more clearly see the parts of the mannequin figure's body. Then you can line those pieces back up and resize them if needed. I also use the oval shape to create the palm of the hand. You could use curve for this, but I think that using the shape oval from the toolbar works just as well. As you're going, you might need to move the elbow and the shoulder as you're tracing the upper part of the arm, because you can't always see through these blue pre-made colors. If you're getting a little bit stuck using the arrange, order, send to back, and bring to front, just take your time and be patient as you're getting used to using those layering tools. Sometimes you need to reselect the polyline tool so that you're able to keep tracing in between each shape. Remember to use Control and the arrow keys to layer them up and down. So once you trace some of the body parts, you might be able to duplicate, rotate, or flip horizontally or vertically so that you can reuse some of those shapes that you've made. That's what I'm doing here for the thigh. So I did not have to make a whole second thigh. I was able to duplicate it, flip it, and align it. I was not able to do this exactly for the calves, because you can notice that the one calf is much longer because it's closer to us in the artwork. Once I finish up the feet, I'm going to trace the second mannequin figure, and in this second mannequin figure, I'm going to show you some tricks on how to make it a little bit easier to see through some of these shapes. I want to make my image of the mannequin figure look a little bit more realistic, so first I create a custom gradient using some warm colors. By using the gradient stops, I'm able to add additional colors to my custom gradient. I can also choose a different outline color for my mannequin figure matching my gradient. You can also try a linear gradient so that it looks like it's being lit from the side. I'm going to duplicate the head, use format options to flip it over so that I can make a head more quickly, since that was one of the pieces that took quite a bit of time. Then I'm going to use the oval shape to cover all of the joints of the body, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. Then I'm going to make another oval shape for the hips and the waist. Then I'm going to duplicate them and make them smaller for the knees, and then make the ankles. I'm not worried about the layering right now. Then I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to start adding in the chest of the second mannequin figure that was in my reference photo. If you double click, you can readjust your polyline shape with the purple anchor tool. I'm going to move it to the side so that I can trace that smaller breastbone detail on the mannequin figure. Then I'm going to use Control and the arrow keys to make sure that the chest is on top of the waist. Notice how I'm kind of guessing where the pieces are overlapping. I'm going to show you a trick by pressing Shift and clicking on all of the shapes of this mannequin figure. I'm going to create a custom color that is 50% opacity. So that last value where it says A in the hex code, I'm going to change it to 50% so that you're able to see through the shapes that I've already made. The default color is that light blue, and it's not a see-through or transparent color, so we're going to use that custom transparent color to make tracing the mannequin figure shapes a little bit easier now. I don't have to worry so much about layering rate at this point, but I am just focusing on getting those shapes down and using that 50% value so that it's easier to see through where the pieces are overlapping. This is especially helpful for the area like the hips, where you're drawing that big shape for the entire piece of the hip, but then you also need to trace that front shape of the hip, showing where it is kind of flat and smooth. Then I'm able to go over the hand. For this hand, I used the polyline tool instead of the oval tool. Then I can go and finish the thighs with the polyline tool. I'm using the polyline tool because I do like how the angular shapes look. You could also try the curve tool, but I think that because these shapes are much more lengthy and there's a lot of straight lines, that the geometric shape of the polyline tool works best. Zooming in and out helps you check your progress on your work. Sometimes it helps also to move your picture so that you can trace some of the shapes and then realign your picture back up with your artwork. When you're done, you can remove your reference picture and then add the colors that you want for your mannequin figures. You can try recoloring them, having them in different colors, having them with different gradients, and neaten up your artwork. Then use Insert Word Art to sign your name. Choose a font and color that complements your design. You want to make sure that your name is on your artwork so it's easier to hang up and display. I can't wait to see what you create for your mannequin figure art project.